You sure you want to do this now? Okay then, since I didn't warn you, time to bring down the thunder! Just give it a second. It's on its way. It'll be here any minute now. This is not turning out the way I thought it would. You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna do the review without it. Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy. Apologies if my voice sounds weird right now. I'm currently suffering from a sore throat after what happened a couple days ago. But that's not gonna stop me from giving you all my review on the latest addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Thor Ragnarok. And before I start this review, I would like to give a very special, heartwarming, happy birthday shout out to one of my good friends and one of the loveliest people I've ever met, Holly. Happy birthday, Holly. I hope it's a great one. Don't act crazy. So Thor Ragnarok follows the misadventures of our buddy Thor as he traverses the universe, first in search of the Infinity Stones, then to find his father, and then to find his way back home to stop his estranged evil sister and her nefarious plans. Now, in my honest opinion, the Thor franchise has always been the weakest link in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It was off to a good start with the first film, but ever since then, it really struggled to find its footing, what it really wanted to be, and thus it floundered. But when seeing the trailer for Thor Ragnarok, I thought that the franchise finally found its footing to be this space adventure epic where Thor is like traveling from different worlds and all that stuff. So I got really excited when I saw the trailer, and you know, I wanted to see what Taika Waititi would do with this franchise. What direction will he take it? Visually speaking, it already impressed me with its trailer, and I like the idea of pairing Thor and Hulk together. So needless to say, I was looking forward to this next installment. And did it live up to my expectations? Let's find out. As stated prior, the overall look of this film, including the set designs, costumes, makeup, and visual effects, were unique, vivid, and fantastic looking, helping it to stand out from the other two installments, and is, in my opinion, the most visually impressive of all three. A majority of the characters here, while lacking sufficient development, were still quite entertaining to watch, both old and new. With the new characters, the ones that truly stood out to me were Valkyrie, Scourge, and Hela. Starting with Valkyrie, she's an interesting and entertaining character with a solid relationship with Thor and some great banter with them. I really enjoyed scenes between the two characters as they're constantly clashing with each other. She goes through some decent development, not the greatest, but it's serviceable for what the movie is. She does have a tragic backstory, and Tessa Thompson does a great job playing the character. I really like her as an actress, and I would love to see her in more projects. Hopefully this will propel her up to the next level in her career. Then we have Thor's secret and estranged sister Hela, played wonderfully by Cate Blanchett, who honestly carried the character. If it wasn't for her performance, I wouldn't even care for Hela, but because I enjoy Cate Blanchett as an actress and I thought she did very well in the role, that's what made her character truly stand out. But I think honestly the best character in this entire film, this is not a joke, the best character in the entire film is Scourge, played by Karl Urban. Now, he doesn't really seem that remarkable, and he doesn't really do that much in the film, but he has the best character arc in the entire film. He starts off as a guy that's very boastful, likes to show off, but really deep down inside he's a coward. He doesn't really fight. He's not much of a warrior. He can't speak for himself. But by the end of the film, he grows a conscience and he starts doing the right thing. And I like seeing that type of growth. If only more of the characters in this film could have been more like Scourge and have some decent character arcs. And I really love the interactions between Thor and the Hulk. The Hulk actually speaks in this film, and some of the scenes where he is talking to Thor is pretty entertaining. There's a lot of funny jokes, funny scenes in this film. In fact, you could almost argue that Thor Ragnarok is more of a comedy than it is an action adventure. More on that a little later. And I guess the last thing that I really enjoyed about Thor Ragnarok is some of the action scenes looked pretty cool and were very entertaining to watch. The best action scene in the entire film, hands down, is the throwdown between the Hulk and Thor inside the arena. That clash did not disappoint. Although personally I wish it went on a bit longer. It kind of ended prematurely, but I still was thoroughly entertained by it. I also will say that on a cinematography standpoint, some of the shots during these action scenes looked really cool. Two really stood out to me. They were very striking. The first one is where you see the Valkyrie like descending upon Hela, and when the Valkyrie are coming in, you see the clouds parting and it's like golden, almost like it's heaven, like they're coming out of heaven or something. And you got Hela at the bottom and it's dark, miserable, bleak, almost like it's hell, and it felt like a clash between heaven and hell. Visually that looked incredible. And then there's another shot where you see Thor descending from on high and lightning's covering his body and a pile of guys are like reaching out to him. That looked really cool. And the music that accompanied it, ooh, I loved it so much. I guess that's the last thing I'll mention. The use of the Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin was perfect for this film. Every time they used it, I loved it. And I'm addicted to that song now. So thank you, Thor Ragnarok, for getting me addicted to Led Zeppelin all over again. Now I'm sure you've noticed that most of my praises are focused on the visuals and spectacle of the film. That wasn't an accident. Because if I were to sum up Thor Ragnarok in one statement, it would be this: style, substance. And with that said, let's address all of the issues with Thor Ragnarok. And unfortunately, there's a lot. At the core of all its problems lies one damning revelation, and that's the fact that Marvel Studios clearly has no freaking clue what to do with the Thor franchise anymore. It has run its course, and now that well is completely dry. They have run out of ideas. And that's why I feel like they gave Taika Waititi free range to do whatever the hell he wanted with this next film. And it clearly shows. The first evidence to this, and in my opinion the biggest problem with this film, is that it was trying to be more of a comedy rather than an action-adventure film like the previous two installments, with its constant barrage of quips and funny moments that bring the story to a halt. Now, is that to say that there aren't any quippy, funny moments in the previous two installments? Of course not. They do have their moments where they're trying to be funny or they're doing some quips here and there. But it's completely downplayed. It plays second fiddle or even third fiddle to the main story arc, which is the action-adventure element. That took center stage. In Thor Ragnarok, the comedy takes center stage, whereas the action-adventure element plays second fiddle. And how do I know this? Because whenever we're trying to have a serious moment, whenever we're trying to get the action-adventure journey going, it comes to a screeching halt so that a character can make a joke or make a quip. It's evident in the first scene of this film. It opens up where Thor is in some type of chains and he's like trapped somewhere, and then he falls from there and you see like this demon looking guy and he's making all these threats. And as he's making these threats, Thor's like spinning around. He's like, oh wait, sorry, I'm spinning right now. I'll be back soon. Hold on, wait, I'm coming. Wait, I'm almost there. Whoa, what's happening? Oh, hey, buddy. Hey, how's it going? Hey, man. Oh no, I'm turning again. Wait, you're gonna have to wait for me. I'm not even doing this, man. I'm not even doing this. And it's not as if he does it once. He does it twice. And after the second time, I was as annoyed as the demon character on screen. In fact, that one moment and many other quippy moments throughout this film reminded me so much of Ghostbusters 2016 and how they would be constantly quipping in certain scenes as well. And when a film reminds me so much of Ghostbusters 2016, that is not a good sign. And I'll say this: if a majority of the quips in this film were at the very least funny, I may have been able to forgive them. But for every good quip, there are 5 or 6 terrible and unnecessary ones that stink of desperation, just thrown into the film in a desperate attempt to get a laugh from the audience. And that's not even mentioning the fact that many of these quips and jokes come at the expense of really cool, memorable, badass moments. Marvel Studios, I think it's time that you and I sat down and had a talk, because your constant quipping has gotten out of hand. The next evidence I'll present comes from the characters. Now, although I mentioned earlier that I did enjoy some of them, when you really delve into these characters, you begin to discover how hollow they actually are. Now, some were handled well, but others were handled poorly, others were handled disrespectfully, and a majority of them had absolutely nothing to do. The only characters I felt were handled well were 2 of the new characters, Valkyrie and Scourge, as both were given decent development and one even had a really cool character arc. As for the rest, I have no clue what they did with them, but they did a piss poor job at developing the characters, giving them some character arc, giving them purpose, and also capturing their personalities. A lot of these characters do not act like the characters that they were established to be. Like, Thor doesn't even act like Thor in this film. He's not the grandiose, boastful, arrogant type guy that we know from the Avengers films and the Thor movies. He acts more like a watered down Tony Stark, constantly telling jokes and quipping and acting silly. There's even a scene that is straight up a ripoff from Iron Man 3 where he's chained up. It's actually exactly what my opening was. There's a scene in the film where Thor's chained up talking to that demon character I mentioned earlier, and he opens up his palm waiting for his hammer to come, and it takes a very long time for it to get there. And I'm like, that is straight up a ripoff of the scene in Iron Man 3 where Tony Stark is also chained up and he goes, that, and he's just waiting for his suit to come. I don't know if that was unintentional, maybe it was an oversight, but it really bothered me when I saw it. I'm like, really? You're just ripping off another Marvel film? Come on, really? Now granted, Thor is still a badass in this film, but I don't really feel like he grows throughout the film. Like, what is his character arc? Is his character arc to become the next king? Is his character arc to help Asgard? What is his character arc in this film? He has none. His whole story, his whole thing is, I need to get back to Asgard to stop my evil sister. That's it. But the character doesn't grow, he has no arc, he's basically the same character as he was in Avengers 2 as he is now. No changes to him. Now with Loki, I can see an argument be made that he goes through some character growth by the end of the film. But my problem with him is, 1, he doesn't act like Loki. He's not the cunning, mischievous man with the master plan that deceives and manipulates everyone around him. He comes off more as a feeble, pathetic, squirmy, whiny little brat for most of this film. And he does act like a brat in the other films, but at least you can tell that this guy was smart, that he can outmaneuver and outsmart everybody around him. Here, there was no evidence to that. And 2, he has nothing to do in this film. What does he do in Thor Ragnarok? I'm asking the people who have seen the film now. What does Loki do in this film, minus that one thing he does at the end, which honestly, anyone could have done besides Loki? Nothing. He does nothing. In fact, that whole thing that he does at the end, he didn't even have to do that. It could have just been a Deus Ex Machina, or maybe even Thor brought that shit. But no, they gave it to Loki because they realized, well, you know, Loki doesn't have anything to do in this film. We gotta give him something. At least something. Okay, he brings the ship for all the Asgardians. That's what he does in this film. But other than that one thing, he contributes nothing to this story. The story could have happened with or without him. The same can be said about Bruce Banner / Hulk. 1, Bruce Banner does not act like Bruce Banner. Most of the time when you see Bruce Banner, he's always calm and collected. Here, for some reason, he's super frantic and worrisome, and he came off as really annoying. And I get it, he's in a new environment, in a new situation, but the Bruce Banner that I've always known from the comics and in the films was a man of composure, because he knows that if he overreacts, if he lets loose, the green guy will come out. Here, he's like, oh my god, what's going on? Oh man, where have I been? Oh, what do you want me to do? I can't fly. It was really annoying. And I love Bruce Banner. I love Mark Ruffalo as an actor, and I love his performance as Bruce Banner. But here, for the first time ever, I really felt as though he phoned it in. Like he wasn't trying whatsoever. And then going back to his character, what did he do in this film? And that's another honest question. What does Bruce Banner / the Hulk do in this film? The Hulk fights a giant wolf creature. That's it. That's it. That's all he does. Be honest, Marvel. The only reason the Hulk is in this film is because you know damn well that Thor can no longer carry his own movie. So he needs a co-star. He needs another Avenger. Okay, let's give him the Hulk because people have been demanding a Hulk movie. People really love the Hulk. The Hulk is in big demand, so that will drag people to come see this movie. And hell, let's make them fight. That's the only reason the Hulk is in this film. To bring people to see this Thor film. But he contributes nothing to the plot. But the one thing, no scratch that, two things that really pissed me off and got my blood boiling when it came to how the film handled its characters was first Dr. Stephen Strange. Now at the end of Doctor Strange, it's heavily implied that Dr. Stephen Strange was going to assist and accompany Thor for the events of Thor Ragnarok. And that got me really excited. I'm like, not only are we going to get a Thor Hulk team up, but now Doctor Strange is in the mix. I couldn't wait to see this film. I was excited to see what Doctor Strange was going to contribute to Thor Ragnarok. And what does he contribute? No joke. His entire scene, and yes, it's just one scene. That's all we get of Doctor Strange in this film. His entire scene is one long, drawn-out, unfunny comedy bit with one continuous gag throughout. That's it. You have Thor going to visit Doctor Strange because he took Loki because Loki is a threat to the Earth. So of course when he shows up, he's going to capture him. He goes to try to get his brother back, and then he asks Doctor Strange to help him locate his father. He tells him where he is, and then they're off their merry way. Multiple things here. Why? Why even include Doctor Strange when he doesn't even serve a major purpose to the story? What, you're gonna make the argument that he was necessary to locate Odin? Come on! They easily could have found them on their own. Hell, Odin could have just appeared to them. And that would have been fine. But no, we had to find a way to write Doctor Strange into the story. So let's just say he helps them locate their father. That's his purpose in the story. And it's a weak one at that. And really, you're gonna have Doctor Strange in this film, and he doesn't even contribute much. Just that one scene. That really pissed me off because the opportunity was there. The potential was endless. He could have assisted in the final confrontation, but no, he's relegated to one comedy bit, and that's it. That's all we get to see of Doctor Strange. What a waste! But even more of a waste, and in my opinion, the most disrespectful thing any Marvel film has ever done was the treatment of Sif and the Warriors 3, aka Thor's buddies. Not only do they have nothing to do in this film, but they are killed off immediately. And yeah, I'm not afraid to spoil it, because the way that they killed them off was such a spin in the face to not only those characters, but the potential that those characters could have had. And the one problem I've had with all the Thor films is that they show Thor's buddies, Sif and the Warriors 3, and I thought, okay, maybe we're gonna have a film where all of them are gonna pile together and go on an adventure. Well, guess what? Now we can't have that. They have been axed out. They've been killed off. They're not gonna show up in any of the other films. And again, just the way that they're killed off is so sudden. You got the main villain, Hela, come through the portal. They're all standing there, or two of them are standing there, and then she just throws her daggers at them and kills them off. And then the other one, at least he gets to die heroically. He fought against her and lost. And Sif's not even in the film. Now, you're gonna make the excuse, I know, she's on another show, she probably didn't have time to film, and that's perfectly fine, but they could have wrote a way to say, oh, Sif's on an adventure, Sif died, something to address her. They don't even address her in the film. Like, seriously, what was even the point of Thor's team if you're not even gonna give them something worthwhile? They might as well not have been in the film at all. Just the fact that you include them just to kill them off, to me, is very disrespectful to those characters, and I hated how they were treated. And since I mentioned the villainess Hela, let's talk about her. She is so uninteresting, both as a character and as the main antagonist of this film. In fact, she's just a carbon copy of the Dark Elf from Thor the Dark World. They have a similar look and similar motivations. They want to take over the universe by any means necessary. Yawn. Been there, done that. Give me something new. Give me something different. And what hurts the most is that this character had so much potential to her. They could have done something different. They could have taken this character in a unique direction. There could have been an interesting conflict between Thor and Hela because they're both siblings. There could have been this internal conflict where Thor is really second guessing how he wants to deal with Hela. You know, she is his blood. She is family. So he might not want to take her out. He might not want to kill her. But no, in this film, he's like, dude, screw that girl. We're going to take her out by any means necessary. We don't want her around. Really, Thor? Really? You were so torn about how you wanted to treat Loki, yet your sister shows up and you're like, fuck her. Who needs her? Let's kill her. Oh, and there's one more character I like to address. This guy, who I'm going to refer to as the skinny, annoying version of the Thing. This character is the embodiment of every problem I have with Thor Ragnarok. He is basically a comic relief character that ruins every fucking scene that he's in because he has to tell a quip. He has to tell a joke. He has to act weird and bizarre and say funny things. And worst of all, he's voiced by the director Taika Waititi. Did you not learn your lesson from Green Lantern? You do not work well as the comic relief. Just stop it. Stop. Why did you have to bring it in? We got rid of Kat Dennings and you just brought back a much more annoying Kat Dennings. Okay, maybe that was a bit too harsh. The character's not as bad as Kat Dennings' character from the previous two Thor films. That character was the Jar Jar Binks of the MCU, and I'm so glad that she's no longer a part of it. But that doesn't change the fact that the character really got under my skin and annoyed the hell out of me. Not to mention, he didn't really contribute much to the story or the plot. You know, I wouldn't mind if he was funny in some parts and he is the comic relief, but a lot of the things he says weren't funny to me. They just, again, felt very desperate, like all the other quips in the film. My next piece of evidence is the story, which was uninspired, unengaging, and clunky as shit. So overall, while Thor Ragnarok was quite the spectacle, it suffers in the substance department, which I think trumps spectacle and style. I just didn't give a damn about the story, the characters, the conflict, none of it. It felt like a chore to sit through, and I wouldn't be surprised if even Marvel Studios feels like it's a chore to make these Thor films, as they seem so disengaged to the entire franchise and they were just going through the motions and let the director have free range to do whatever the hell he wanted. And what he created was an easily forgettable film, which is now the lowest grade I have ever given a film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Way to go, Thor. You pulled it off. But as always, guys, I'm not the end-all be-all opinion when it comes to Thor Ragnarok. I would love to know what you guys thought of this film as well. Did you overall enjoy it? Do you think it's one of the best films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Do you think that it's the best Thor film ever made? Or is it really boring, dull, derivative, and you just couldn't get into it? And let me know, what is your favorite Thor film? Comment below, let me know, stay tuned, more videos are on the way, and I want to take this time to personally thank all of the patrons who have donated to my Patreon account. And if you would like to help support this channel to keep it afloat, think about donating to my Patreon account. There's a link in the description. And as always, guys, if you'd like to see more videos of this channel, be a part of the Black Critic crew, please hit that subscribe button below, like this video if you really enjoyed it, and I'm Tony II, the god of reviews, known as the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.
Tonight you better stay.